Okay, how many of you folks in the company or out on the internet have come across dotloop and just need some help figuring it out? Well, I'm going to give you a slowed down version of dotloop that will help you keep your files in line. So, dotloop.com, sign in. Put your email address in, or whatever your email address is that you've got your account set up with. So you're logging in. So here we've got, a bunch of files that we've got done. So if you're a new agent and you're logging in, you might see it looking like this with loops, or maybe just one loop up here as a sample loop or something like that. Well, if you're in this format, you can hit the plus sign. But I always suggest coming over here and changing that, switch the view, which is right up here, these four little boxes, switch the view to here, okay? Now, the very first thing that you want to do is create a new loop. What do you want to name your loop? I'm in real estate. You're probably in real estate, but there's applications that use dotloop that aren't real estate related. But if you're a realtor and you're in our company with BrokersRealty.com, what you want to do is come in here to create the loop, and you can name it whatever you would like. My suggestion is if you're doing a contract for a listing, so you're going to list 123 East Main Street, Main Street, Mount Carmel. So, here's our hypothetical listing. So you can create the name. If you're working with a buyer, I always put the buyer's name in. That's how I differentiate between my seller loops and my buyer loops, because if you're working with a seller to sell their house, you'll have one loop for the sale of their house, and then their names for them as buyers, so you can keep the files separated. So let's say Mark Smith is the name you want to go with. So you just hit create loop, and now we've named that loop Mark Smith. So this is the next thing you're going to see. Okay. Now, a lot of you folks are going to want to just dive right into this thing, and that's great. But really what you want to do is come up here and select what type. So this is a purchase contract. Okay. Click on View Details right from the very beginning. So it's a purchase, loop status, we're all good there. Now, let's add our client. So Mark Smith, his email, marksmith@gmail.com. Role, he is the buyer. And now you can put his phone number in, 717-555-1212. Is he working with a company? Not necessarily. You want to put his address in for right now, his current address, 1541 North Smith Drive. I'm sorry, you're going to just put the street number in. Go to the street name, North Smith Drive, and maybe he lives in Opal. And you'll find that what just happened, where the thing took off in the air, that happens from time to time with dotloop. No program's perfect. You just got to slide it back down. And let's say he's in Pennsylvania. Zip code 15755. Put his cell phone number in, 717-515-7432. Is he married? Who knows? Yes. Do you want to send him an intro email? Yep. This is dotloop. We use this for all of our online contracts and signing. This system will save your paperwork so you can log in over the next few years and still have a copy of your docs. Okay, so then we would just hit add person and send that email out. So now we got Mark Smith. Well, maybe we got Mary Smith as his wife. Mary Smith. And her email is marysmith@gmail.com. Her role, she's a buyer. And then you can go through filling all of Mary's information out if you want and send her the same kind of welcome email. So we'll add the person. So now you got Mark Smith, you got Mary Smith, Jesse Storm, which is me, our admin for Brokers Realty. Now let's add the other agent. So agent for seller, whatever his name or her name is, and let's say agent@gmail.com. And over here where it says role, you're going to put in listing agent because you're going to be the buyer's agent. Fill in all of the information, 717-555-1212. Their phone number, 717-555-1234. Company name, broker's name. So you'll put your the brokerage name in. Their address, 1234 East. I'm sorry, we're going to go over here. Again, there we go. Jumped up. East Market Street, Lancaster, PA, 17603. Their cell phone number, 717-654-1234. License number, RS 123456. They may not have an ID. Now, if this agent has an account, this is going to copy them and let them know that you brought them into a loop. Okay, so now you've got yourself, your brokerage, Mark, Mary, the agent. That's pretty good for right now. The only other thing that you could put in here would be the broker for the seller. Okay, search MLS address. So you can go in here, you can type in an MLS number, and it might find the property. The reality is, if you just come down here and put in 1234 East Main Street, and type this the way you want it to come up on the contract. And we said Mount Carmel, $17585. What county is that? You know, whatever county your house is in. whatever the MLS number is, and put the parcel ID number in. So maybe it's 0000. Okay, so keep filling all of this in, but make sure you use the proper English. Like here, where I'm, if this auto populates on a contract, I really don't want it to be little. I want it to be nice. So you want to make sure you put it in there the right way. Okay. Purchase price. How much are you offering? $156,900. Commission rate 3%. You don't really know that. You're just getting your 3%. Sale total commission, you could calculate it if you want. Whatever you want to do, it's not necessary that you fill that in. Earnest money deposit, so let's say they're putting $1,500 down. Earnest money is held by buyer's title company. Contract agreement today. Closing date. When do you want to close the offer? Let's say May 10th. Offer date. Add inspection dates. So if you want to go out, say the 31st. Offer date is today. Offer expiration date. Let's give them the 17th. And now you can come in here and say by 2 p.m. also. If you really want to get technical about it, occupancy date, you could put anything that you want in here or just leave it blank. Okay, contact info, if you have a transaction number or something like that. Are you paying a referral? 25% referral fee, referral source. Let's say it's Coldwell is dying. It's Coldwell is a whatever. Let's just say Coldwell. Expiration date, listing information. So this would be stuff if you're doing a listing date, original list price, current price, first mortgage balance. You can fill this stuff in if you chose to do so. If you have any of the information, fill in as much of this as you have. Homeowners Association dues, $425 monthly. Property includes refrigerator, washer, dryer. Property excludes coal. This stuff here, if you have it, you can fill it in. When was the property built? 1900. Bedrooms 3, square foot 1820. School district Mount Carmel. Type single, or we can say residential. Bathrooms 3.5. Lot size 0.25. Hit save. Now you filled in a bunch of information there. You saved it. Now we're going to go back to the loop. So now we're here at Mark's loop. Okay, the first thing I want to do, so now you have all of these different things over here along the side. Some of you may have more, some of you may have less, but if you're just learning this, the easiest way is to get the stuff that you want PAR interactive. So you should have connected your dot loop to PAR, which is going to require your NARS number. Take your PAR, now you want a consumer notice. Look at that, pops right up. Click on it, hit copy. Okay, so now in your docs, you got your consumer notice. Now with all that stuff that you filled out, buyer 1, Mark Smith. Buyer 2, Mary Smith. Buyer's agent, you're going to select who you want. That's me. Okay, buyer 1, Mark Smith, Mary Smith. And again, like I said, make sure you fill it in the way you want it to show up, because otherwise it's going to show up the way you filled it in. Autofill. And watch what happens here. It drops it all in. Now, my RS number's not there, so you go in here and put in your real estate number. Okay. You don't have to worry about the dates, because when you sign this, it's going to put the date on. Adopt a signature. See, it sticks the date right there. So when they sign this electronically, it's going to do the same thing, and it's going to drop the date right over here. So you don't necessarily need to do the date on the other side, because if they don't sign it today and they sign it tomorrow, your date's going to be wrong. So let the program actually date it. Now you're going to send this out. So you're going to hit save and share, and that's going to ask you if you want to email this to Mary Smith and Mark Smith so they can sign. You can change that. You can say fill in and sign. You can say, so you can edit in private or view only. You're going to want to send it so they can sign. Okay? And then down here is if you're going to add other people. Here you can enter a message. Mark, Mary, thank you for taking the time to talk at the house. This is the start of paperwork. We discussed the consumer notice at the house, and this is just the hard copy telling you how a real estate agent can help you. This is not the contract. And then I always click here to attach it. So it's going to send it in the cloud. But if you click this little box with everything you email out to your clients, it's going to attach a copy of this directly to their email. And then hit share. And that's going to, bada bing, send it right out to those folks to sign. You've already signed your side of it. So now you get your consumer notice out of the way. Okay, so what's next that you want folks to sign? Well, your next thing you're going to want, in all reality, would be what? Seller's disclosure. So if you go to the MLS, log into your MLS, find the listing that you want. Not the listing that I want. Let's go with Rock Hollow. Let's see. Escrow letter. See, the stuff like that you want to give to your clients too. Broad Street here. Documents. So here's your escrow letter, your seller's disclosure, your lead paint. So what you can do is you can download all of those. So however your MLS does that, you'll want to download those. So in my case, I'm going to export. Or some folks will go in and I'll click them all. Let me show you a little easy way. Is you hit print, and then you hit PDF, and now you have that in a PDF version of everything that you were looking to do. Or you can come over here and click Documents. And email it to yourself, or just hit print. And now what you do here is instead of hitting print, you're going to save as a PDF to your own computer. Hit save. And we're going to call this Broad Street. Save it. So now we can go back over into our dotloop account. And we're going to browse. And we're going to search for Broad Street. There they are. Now we just brought that in. So we can come into Broad Street. Now we have the MLS in there. We have our broker's escrow letter. And you can fill all this stuff in. You can add all of this stuff in. You can't autofill because you don't, you can put signatures in. You can do whatever you want here, add text boxes and fill in the information, title company. You can drop another text box in, put the phone number in. See there, I ran out of space, so all you do is grab the corner, pull it out. You want to put their email address in, fax. So let's go ahead and put the email address in here. So we're just going to grab another text box, put it in here. I'm going to make this as big as we can get it. Jesse at Storm Team Real Estate. So see now, we can just shrink it down. And now we're just a little touch too small, so there we go. Do you need the fax number? Where will closing be held? Again, you can add in another text box. And you can put in the broker, or put in the title company's address. That, stretch it out. So you got that all done. Now we're going down to the next page. This happens every once in a while when you save them as a print. So this is the seller's disclosures. They're loading up in here. It's taking a little bit of time to load them up. This here's the lead-based paint disclosure. So all you're going to do is come in here for licensee, add signature, assign field, pick who you want the sign to, agent for seller. You want your buyers to come in here and initial this. Buyers receive pamphlet, protect your family. Initial, buyers, so both husband and wife will sign. So you want to assign field, mark, assign field, Mary. What this is going to do is this is going to make sure that they sign it. Now you can make these boxes smaller to fit in here if you really want to get testy about it. And you can add some more initials in there, saying that they had the time to receive, they're waiving their rights to the 10-day rule. Assign the field to Mark, and we'll pull that over. Initial. Assign that to Mary. Squeeze it down if you really want them to be down there. Seller's disclosure, add initials, so you can assign these fields all day long to everybody, and you can shrink them all down if you really want them to be neat and tidy and small. I never cared that much about that. Just want to get her done. Seller's already signed, so there you have it. Now, if these are your seller's disclosures, this is a closed deal, so that's why I've kind of whited these out and stuff. But if you want to put your seller's disclosure in, you know what happens down here at the bottom. You're going to add initials the same way. You just drop them down where they're supposed to be and assign the field to who you want to sign. And then you can save and share, and it's going to send all of that to them to sign. Done. So now you got consumer notice done. You've got, in this little packet, you've got your broker acknowledgement for escrow, you've got your seller's disclosure, you've got your lead-based paint disclosure. Are you ready for the offer? No. Why not? Because you haven't done your buyer agency agreement. Add a document, template. See, I set a lot of these up so that way I can go right in, new agent. I've got all my docs then in for new agents, or I can go into standard purchase. And these are all my docs that I normally use for a standard purchase. Standard listing, you know, all my docs that I'm normally going to use for a standard listing. When I'm doing a commercial deal, my docs for commercials, commercial listing, residential lease listing, commercial lease, you know. So what you'll want to do is kind of go in here and make this. You can make these folders. You know, here's my personal folder. So these are different things that I use personally. So what's the difference between my personal stuff and the other ones? Well, let me show you. So if I select my buyer agency, copy and suck that in, my buyer agency, I'm going to add, you got buyer one, and see now, dotloop realized that was a fake email address. So now it wants me to put a new phone number in and verify autofill. So this was an old one, so I used to work for a different company and use dotloop, so I had pre-filled all of their information in. So because you're dropping all of that info in for individuals, your licensee, you can come in here and you can put your buyers in, put your buyers' email addresses in, put in what you're charging, put in here for your initials for you to sign, put in your initials, and you know, you can drop in your second party if you want, you know, and you can assign those fields to Mary. You can assign that field to Mark. If it doesn't pop up down here for you, all you do is go up, click on it so it's got a blue highlight, and then just go up to the top here and you can select who you want to make it. Okay? So you can go down through and do all of that, you know, and then the personal ones, you know, you can have things pre-filled in that you use all the time. So like my listing contracts, I have them pre-filled in. I don't want to save that, but you would send that out to your client set. So after you had that filled in, again, it's all filled in, you hit share, sends it out to those folks, and you're done. Now, you got your consumer notice done. You got your seller's disclosure done. You got your lead paint disclosure done. You got your escrow disclosure done. You got your buyer agency agreement done. You ready to write your contract yet? No. Why not? Because you got to do your estimated closing cost sheet before you write the contract. So what you're going to do is you're going to go in again and you're going to browse, because you're going to create your estimated closing sheet, whether you use a physical form on Flex or Trend or Bright or GHAR. I threw that in there. bright MLS, coming to you soon. Anyway, depending on what MLS you're using, if you're using that program to create your estimated closing cost sheet, you're golden. Then you just suck it in, save it as a PDF, suck it in, and put your initials on and go from there. Now, if you're looking to use the PAR form, you can come in here and go to PAR, go up to search and type in estimated closing costs. So here you go. Now you got your buyer's estimated closing cost sheet. So there's no reason why you don't do an estimated closing cost sheet before you do your contract, outside of the fact that the state requires you to. So now you got your people's names in there, property information in there, autofill. It's going to drop a lot of that right onto the sheet for you then. And then you can come in and you can fill all of your numbers out on the sheet, fill out everything. Once you have it done, you got Mark and Mary already selected. I always take these extra blocks like this, come up and select no one. That way nobody can sign it by accident or sign in the wrong place. And then you click sign, adopt the signature, save and share, and it pushes it out to your clients. So you're done with that. Now you're going to go back. You got your consumer notice done, you got your escrow done, you got your seller's disclosure done, you got your lead-based paint disclosure done, you've got your buyer agency agreement sent out, signed, you got your estimated closing cost and deposit money notice. Well, wait a minute. Does this actually have a deposit money notice attached to it? Nothing really jumps out saying deposit money notice. So, this just says buyer's estimated closing cost. So, guess what you need? Add a document, templates. You can go back down to PAR, click on PAR, and just type in deposit money notice. Guess what pops up? Deposit money notice. Copy it into the file. Open up your deposit money notice. It's going to let you select. See, you pre-filled in a bunch of that stuff at the very beginning, so that way it saves you a bunch of time. See, it's giving you everything that's going on. Autofill. So here you go, here you go. It's just auto-populating everything. Listing broker, selling broker. So you got everything in. Just make sure, let's say if this was wrong, you could come in here and you could change that. And then you're ready to send it out for them to sign. Again, that last one there, I always go in and hit no one. That way they can't accidentally put a signature in the wrong location. Save and share. Whoever said real estate was really easy. So now you got all of this stuff done. Now what do you do? You want to write a contract. Add contract, template, PAR, standard agreement of sale. Now, this is going to give you a little bit there. You got manufactured home, standard agreement of manufactured mobile home. You got standard agreement sale of new construction, standard agreement of sale of real estate. That's at ASR. So that's the one we all really use. Here you got standard agreement of sale of vacant land. Did you guys know that there were this many contracts? Pick the right one for this occasion that you're writing the offer. So now we've sucked that in. We got all of this information here filled in. All of this gobbledygook. So just scroll down to the bottom, hit autofill, and guess what it does? Bada bing, bada bang, bada boom, it drops in the stuff that you already typed. Now you just got to fill in the blanks. Seller, Mr. and Mrs. Mr. and Mrs. Joseph Water, is that the right way to do it? No. Let's go Joseph Water. Maybe you do Mr. Joseph Water, but I would go Mr. Joseph. I'd just go Joseph Water and Sally Water. You don't need their address. So now your yellow stuff is what's auto-populating. You want to just double check, make sure it's right. Municipality of Book and Page. Some areas still use that. Brokers Realty, Embassy Drive. Put in your broker's telephone number. Do you need the fax number? Yeah. Okay, so remember, you got no business relationship, you got buyer agent, dual agent. So since we're not selling it, we're a buyer's agent. And over here, since we have a business relationship and we're the buyer's agent, you got a couple of choices. Buyer's agent, all company licensees represent the buyer. Buyer's agent with designated agency, only licensee named above represents the buyer. That would be me. Dual agent would be if you were doing both of these transactions together, both as the same agent. I highly don't recommend doing that. Or if you're just a transaction licensee, you can click on transaction licensee, broker licensee, provide real estate services, but do not represent the buyer, which means take these marks off of the paperwork. Seller, do the same thing down here. You fill in the information, make the same choices, and see how it drops it in for Mr. and Mrs. Smith to fill in. Get your price. Okay. Initial deposit within, if you want to make a change, 7 days. I kind of always come over just for courtesy and move it over to the center a little bit. $1,500. If you want to add on a different amount within 20 days, you could put another $500 or whatever. Or you could come in here and say within 5 days of mortgage approval, within 5 days of mortgage approval. Or you could say within 5 days after mortgage approval. These contracts are made so you can make some minor tweaks to them. Okay, so here, again, for brokers, we kind of send things to the title companies, or we want the sellers to send it to the title company. So you put in your title company, Premier, whoever your title company is. Are you asking for seller help? Are you asking for a flat amount? Or are you asking for 6%? Whatever you're doing there. You want to fill in. You don't have to fill in both. They're saying 5,000 or 6%. Or you could just leave one blank and just say 6%. Settlement date, the date that you want to close. Fill in your contract. Everything's there. See, the included items, the excluded items, if you remember. Electing, we're putting our financing in. So we're going to go through the whole contract, fill it in. If you've got an FHA, VA, USDA, and you want to go 159.9, and your HUD notice, because you want to let people know that they have the right in Pennsylvania to do a home inspection. Public water, public sewer. So you go through and fill this whole thing out just like you do your normal contracts. Now, here's a pet peeve of mine, okay, because I'm talking with my buyers. They want to do the home inspection. I take the time. Some people don't, but I take the time and I'll put in where they need, and I will make these no ones. A little extra time, but if you go down through and do this on everything, you're guaranteed to have your buyers signing instead of signing on both sides or signing all the way down the column. So if you've talked to your clients and this is what they want to do is home and wood, I recommend going in here and getting rid of these like this, so that way your clients sign at the right place. So deed restrictions and zoning, they may not want to do that. So no, no, and we'll wave it over here. So if you take the time, a couple extra seconds, go through here and do that with everything, including the other box. If they're not asking for anything, take the time, put it in there the right way. Takes a few extra seconds, but you're going to have a better product at the end. Contingency period for inspections. How long are you asking for? Be courteous. Put a couple spaces in front so people can see it. You know, if you're changing your 5 days to 2 days or 7 days, whatever your buyer wants to do there. If you're going to leave it blank and just go with the standards, so you go through and do everything. You know, don't forget about this one here. You know, if you're going to, seller's limited to retaining the sums paid of a buyer, including deposit money as liquidated damages. Make sure you make that check mark if you're going to use that. If you're going to do any additional terms. So you just got your buyers and sellers already in. Get rid of that last one because nobody should sign there. And now you're ready to rock and roll. You hit save and share. Are you done? No. You're never done. There's your HUD notice. You can go down the same thing, hit par, type in HUD for your protection. You suck that right in. There's your HUD notice. Now, it's a blank piece of paper, no signatures on it. How do you know that you gave it to them? Go up here. You can go up here and with this particular form, it's locked. You can't do anything with it. So my suggestion is go back here and archive it. Get rid of it. This one here. Again, can't add anything. Can't do anything with it. Well, that doesn't help me because nobody can tell whether or not you sent it to your client or not. But here's what you can do. You can click here. And you can go up here and say make a copy. Copies of flat signature preserved, not editable. To the loop. Okay. And what did we call this? Mark Smith. Mark Smith. Click on him, put it in his folder. Okay, bada bing. So now this is the one that we just made a copy of. So let's go ahead and archive that, get rid of that one. Now you got the one that you didn't archive. Guess what you can do now? You can add signatures. So come down here. Plop it in, assign the field. Mark, add a signature. Mary. Guess what? Now you're going to save and share that, and they're going to sign this with a digital signature showing that you gave them for your protection, get a home inspection. Save and share. And now you just sit back and wait for your clients to sign. No, pick up the phone, call them, let them know that you should have gotten several emails. If you really want to be courteous, you can sit here and click on this and hit share. And you're going to hit reshare with both parties. Reshare. And what this is going to do is this is going to re-email all of them as one packet then to them. The reason why I do them individually is to show that you actually physically sent it to the client prior to the next form. That way nobody can ever say that somebody didn't see the consumer notice before they signed the contract, or the buyer agency before they signed the contract. You sent them all in order, and then you just did a bulk of all of them together. So we're waiting on signatures. Once they would log in and sign, it'll come back to you. Then what you do is you come in and you pick out your standard agreement of sale. You pick out, so let's get rid of all these check marks. So we'll come in here and we'll pick out deposit money notice, standard agreement of sale, and we're going to get our docs, and we can share those then once we get them back with the listing agent. And he can edit in private, or she can edit in private, and then share it to the listing agent. Done, bada boom. Now you're waiting, you let the listing agent know that you sent them the contracts from dotloop, and they're all rare and ready to go.